in your field. Let's begin by looking at what is data entry. So, data entry basically is the process of you organizing and cleaning random data for easy readability and to support decision making. For instance, I have this particular data that we will be working on. So, you type in anything inside your cells is data entry. Okay, simply inputting data in your cells and then cleaning it and formatting it to your preference or a client's preference. That is what we refer to as data entry. There are types of data entry tasks. We have basic data entry tasks. So this basic data entry task involves you copying and typing data from one format to the other, copying a file from the internet and pasting it in your Google Doc or your Excel file. And then you have a list of data that you clean, you organize. We will be looking at all of this. So don't leave this tutorial. Okay, if you want to obtain a new skill as a data entry specialist or personnel, make sure to complete this tutorial. There is also the advanced data entry task. With this kind of task, it involves calculations, formulas, addition, subtraction, multiplications, and doing all kinds of functions so that you can clean and then format your data. Let's take a look at why people hire data entry specialists. One main reason why people hire data entry specialists is because data entry is time consuming. Most clients don't have the luxury of time to obtain a data from the internet and then input it in Microsoft Excel or Google Sheet and then format it, clean it into a neat data for them to read and go through and make the decisions that they want to make on that particular data. There are a lot of opportunities for data entry roles, and clients are willing to pay for data entry personnel to work on their projects for them. In this particular tutorial, we will be using Google Sheets for most of our illustrations. If you are using the paid version of Microsoft Excel, you can go ahead and use that as well. They have the same features, just that Microsoft Excel has advanced features. That is one of the main reasons why people prefer Microsoft Excel to Google Sheets. The difference between Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets is that Microsoft Excel is a program that was developed by Microsoft and it has advanced features. So Microsoft Excel has advanced features, but Google Sheets was developed by Google and it also has good features, but then it's limited compared to Microsoft Excel. This is the interface for Microsoft Excel. And when we come to Google Sheets, this is also the interface for Google Sheets. If I should click on Sheet 2, you can see that this is also the interface. So there are slight differences, but then they perform almost the same functions. Let's take a look at how you can access Google Sheets. To access Google Sheets, make sure to open your Chrome browser. Then you open a new tab and you navigate your mouse to Google Apps. You select Google Apps from this option, you scroll down and you select Google Sheets. Okay. When you select Google Sheets, you're going to have this interface for Google Sheets. We have the template gallery and then we have the blank spreadsheet, and then we also have some already made templates that you can use. So I will go ahead and close this because I have opened one over here. When you open Google Sheets, the first thing you need to do is to rename your spreadsheet. Okay, over here I have given it a name as data entry course for beginners. You can type any name that you want to type here, and when you type this, it saves in your drive. So when you click on my drive, you can see that it's directly saved inside your drive. So when you click on this, it will open in a new tab and then it will take you to your drive, your Google Drive for you. So whenever you need a particular document, all you have to do is come over to your Google Drive and then you're going to find it here. You can open a new spreadsheet or a new Google Sheet file from this particular option as well. Okay. So you can open a blank spreadsheet or you can open from a template. This is the spreadsheet that I am currently working on, data entry course. Whenever you need to access your spreadsheet, like I illustrated earlier, you click inside your Google Drive, then you click on this arrow that says open in a new tab, and then you have access to your Google Drive. That is where all your files are being saved to. Inside your new spreadsheet, we have columns and rows. Okay. So in order to differentiate the columns from the rows, you know that the columns are the alphabet. So A, B, C, D. These are columns. Okay, these are columns. and the rows are the numbers. So one, two, three, four, five. These are rows. In order to differentiate and not get confused, you say that the columns represent the alphabet and the rows represent the numbers. The intersection of a column and a row will give you a cell. Over here, we have the name box. With this particular name box, it gives you the opportunity to see the name of the cell. So if I should click on this, it's going to give me the name of the cell, which is E2, and this will give me B3. When you click on this drop down, you're going to have the name of your sheet. Okay, currently I have one sheet, so that is the employee data, and that is what is being displayed here. If I have multiple sheets with names, it's going to display all of them over here for me to see. And this is the formula bar. Whenever you type a formula, it's going to get displayed here. So if I should type equals sum and I do this, it's going to be displayed here. So when you type something or a formula and you want to make corrections, you can do that over here. We also have the tab section that helps you to format your data. There is file, edit, view, insert, format, data, tools, extensions, and then help. This is the sheet's home. When you click on this, it will take you back to the home of your Google Sheet. Okay, and in case you want to go back to your data or your sheet, you just click on it and it will take you back to the sheet that you are working on. This feature gives you the opportunity to know when last you made changes to your data. This feature over here shows you all comments in your data. When you are working on a spreadsheet and you leave comments in your data, you can use this option to show all the comments that you made in your data. And this also helps you to join a call in order to present whatever you are working on in your data, and use this option to share your file or your data or your spreadsheet with others as well. With this plus sign over here, it helps you to add new sheets to your workbook. I have the first sheet that I have renamed as employee data, and I have the second sheet. You can drag it to this particular position and then you can rename this as well. In order to rename, you right click on your keyboard and you have the option to rename here. So you select rename, then you go ahead to rename this. So I'll just say company information and click enter on your keyboard, and then this name will be saved for you. Now when I right click again, there are a couple of things you can do with this particular sheet. Okay, you can delete the sheet in case you don't want it. You can also duplicate the sheet. You can copy the sheet to a new spreadsheet or an existing one. You can rename, you can change the color of the sheet. When you change the color, it's going to be beneath the name of the sheet. Let me right click on this again. You can protect the sheet. When I click on protect the sheet, you can enter a description here and then set permissions for the sheet. You can select the type of sheet that you want to set these permissions to. So when I click on budget, and I can enter anything and say hi, then I click on set permissions. So when you click on that, you can see that it says restrict who can edit this particular range. And when you set this option to only you, it means that that particular sheet is locked. So only you have access to this sheet and only you can edit this particular sheet. Now you can also press on custom to enter the email addresses or names of people that you would want to have access to this particular sheet. Now when you are done adding the names and the email addresses of these people, you click on done. But one thing that you can also do is show a warning when editing this range. In case you want to receive a prompt, let's say that you've invited somebody onto this sheet and the person is editing it, you can check this box so that you get notified when somebody is editing this particular sheet. And then you come back to this again and you click on done. In order to know if this particular sheet is locked or not, you can see this padlock over here beneath the padlock is beside the name of the sheet. That will tell you that it is protected and locked and nobody can have access to this particular sheet, even if you share it with other people. After setting this permission on your sheet, in case you want to remove the permission, you just have to click on the sheet again, and then this will pop up, and then you select the delete option here, and then it's going to delete the permission. So it says that anyone who has edit access to the spreadsheet will be able to edit content in the range. So you remove this, then you say okay. Then you come back to the sheet, you see that the padlock is no more there. Let's take a look at how you can hide a particular sheet. What you can do is right click on it and then select hide sheet, and then it's hidden over here for you. When you hide a sheet and you want to see it, navigate your mouse to view, click on view, and then you can see hidden sheets. then you select show sheet 2, okay, or show the name of the sheet that was hidden. The next thing we will be talking about is how to type and edit text and numbers. In order to type and edit numbers or text, select the cell where you'd want to enter this particular number or text, and then you start by typing. First thing, I want to type company. I'll go ahead and type company here. And then you use the arrow keys on your keyboard, the left and the right arrow keys, and then the top and then the bottom arrow keys as well. So you use the right arrow key to go to the right side and use the left arrow key to go to the left side. Now that you've typed company, you move on to the next cell and we type website, and then you move on to the next cell and then we type contact. You move on to the next cell and we type email address. You use the down arrow key to come to the next arrow, or you can just use your mouse to select the cell where you'd want to type a particular text or a number. The next thing we will be looking at is how to copy, cut, paste, undo, and redo. In order to copy a text, let's say that for instance, we'll go over to some website, then we look for a list of companies. So we say list of companies in Ghana, list of companies in Ghana. Then we scroll down to look for a list of companies. Okay, so now over here, we want the name of this particular company. So we go ahead and copy by selecting this name, and then you use Command or Control C to copy that on your keyboard. Then you head over to your Excel file or your Google Sheet file, then we paste it here using the keyboard shortcut Ctrl plus V to paste that over here. Then you double click this to increase the space. After pasting the name of the company, we can go ahead and then do more examples. So we just go ahead and copy more of this by selecting Ctrl C to copy. We head over to our file and then we do Ctrl V to paste. Okay, in order to remove this link that you are seeing over here, we go ahead and select this and then you select remove over here, and then it's going to remove the link that has been inserted inside the name of the company. We can do same with this as well, Aerogym Aviation. Then we click on remove link. It's going to remove the link over here. Okay, in order to undo a particular action, you can use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl plus Z on your keyboard, and it will undo an action that has been done. And you can use Ctrl plus Y, or you can use this particular option here to redo, which means that to bring back what you have undone. Okay, so you can use Ctrl plus Y on your keyboard to redo, and then Ctrl plus Z to undo an action. Now that we have something like this, let me show you how you can easily populate the rest of the cells with large data. So we can go ahead and then look at the list of companies that we have, and then you make sure that you put your cursor here, hold your mouse and select the entire thing inside the table. So you can select as many as you want. Okay, so let's add this. And then you use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl plus C to copy. You head over to your, if you're using Microsoft Excel, you head over to your workbook. If you're using Google Sheets, you head over to your file, your Google Sheets file, and then you're going to select the table. You're going to select it like this. Make sure to select it like this, okay? And then you go ahead to use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl plus Shift plus V. It's going to paste everything inside your file for you. So I just go ahead and use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl plus Shift plus V, and here you have it. Okay, so this is how it's going to be. This is our data. This is the data that we just copied from Wikipedia. This is the data that we copied from Wikipedia. So in order to copy data easily from the website or other sources, make sure that you copy everything. You come over to your file, use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl plus Shift plus V, and then it's going to paste everything that you copied from that source onto your sheet for you. We can go ahead and modify this. Okay, for the headers, we use the same headers. So we can say industry for this, industry. Then the next one is sector, sector. The next option is headquarters. The next option is the year that it was founded. So founded. The next option is we can say, let's leave this as location. So this is some notes over here. We can implement the same thing in our Excel sheet. So we say notes. Then we can decide to delete this entire column. Okay, so you select the entire column and then you use the delete key on your keyboard. You can select this as well. Right click on your keyboard and select delete column, and then it will be deleted for you. So now this is the data that we have. We will be formatting this so that it looks nicely and it looks neat. Okay, now the next thing we will be looking at is how to format this particular data that we just obtained from the internet. The next thing to do is to expand the columns. These words are overfilling to the other cells, so you double click on the column to expand this so that you can see the full text over here. We do the same for the others. You double click, you go ahead and double click to expand this. After expanding the columns, the next thing to do is to replace this question marks with years. So we can use the find and replace feature to do this particular work. In case you are working with a very large data, you cannot scroll through the entire data and look for this and then replace it with what you want to replace it with. So if the years are the same, we go ahead to edit, we go over to edit and then select find and replace, and then we want to find the question mark that we don't want over there. Then we select replace with 1980. You go ahead and select, you can select all sheets. If you select all sheets, it means that you are selecting the employee data sheet. That is for me. But if you have other sheets, it's going to select it as well, and whatever is there is going to, if this question mark is in the other sheet, is going to replace it with this particular year. So make sure that you don't make that error. I would select this sheet, okay, and then we leave this and then we select find, okay, then replace all, then you select done. When you click on done, this is what you're going to see over here. It has replaced the question marks with the years over here. The next thing we need to do is to change the font type and then the font size. So you select the entire sheet and then we change the font. With the font type, you can select any font of your preference. I am selecting Roberto Serif, and then with the font size, I would go with 12. If 12 is too much, we can go with 11 or 10, okay. And currently this is how it's looking. And then we select the headers. You select the header by clicking, holding your mouse and then spreading it to the other cells that you would want to select. And then we change the font size for the header. We can make the headers bold. So you can make the headers bold, and then we reduce the font size a bit because we've bolded it, and this is very visible. If you want to apply italic to your headers, you can go ahead and select the italic to give it a certain look and feel. But if you prefer to leave it in its original state, you can go ahead and uncheck this or click on the italic again, and then the italic will not be applied for you. We go ahead and add some fill color or text color. We change this color to white, and then we add a fill color here. We select the fill color to add a fill color of green. This is too bright, so we can add, look for a color that is a bit okay. Okay, so this color is okay for us. This is okay for us. We are going to leave it at this color. Double click to space it out, double click to space it out, double click to space it out. And this is how, currently this is how our data is looking. Now when you select your data, you get this pop-up that says convert to table. When you highlight your mouse on convert to table, you're going to have something like this. Okay, you're going to have something like this. And then when you click on this drop down, there are more suggestions for you to explore. There are more suggestions for you to explore, but we wouldn't want to do this right now. In case you want to convert this to table, you can go ahead and convert this entire thing to table. The next thing to do is to align this data properly. Currently our rows are left aligned, so we can select the entire row for row A, and then we head over to alignment. Currently it is horizontal align. When you click on this drop down, we have options like center, left and right. So if you want all your text to be center aligned, you click on center and you can see that all our text are going to be aligned in the center, but this doesn't look good. So we go back and select the column and then we select left align and we have it here formatted nicely for us. When we look inside our data, most of this text, they are overflowing to the next cell and we don't want that to happen. So we are going to wrap this in order to prevent it from overflowing to the other cell. In order to do that, you select the text and then we head over to text wrapping. You click on the drop down, we have the wrap and then we have the clip. When you click on the wrap, it's going to wrap it to the next cell. So you're going to have a bigger cell. This is how it's going to look. Now, in case you don't want something like this, you go back and select it again, and then you click on the clip, and you're going to have something like this. We can do this, or we can apply this change to all the text in our column. So you select the entire column, and then we go to text wrapping, then we select clip and we have it nicely formatted for us. It's not overflowing to the other cells. We can apply the same thing to our company names as well. So I'll just go ahead and decrease the width of this column. Then I'll select the column text wrapping and then clip. So it's not overflowing to the other cells, okay? But then at the same time, we can double click this to expand it so that we can have a better overview of our text. I've realized that this column E, the numbers in column E are right aligned. So I want to make it middle align or left align. I'll go ahead and select the column and then choose the left align so that I have everything aligned to the left for me. The next thing we will be looking at is how to format numbers, okay? For instance, in case we want to use this particular column, the numbers that we have in column E, we want to format these numbers as a plain text or a number or a percentage or an accounting number. An accounting format means you are putting them in a currency format. And then we have date, time, and then the duration. We can select this entire column and then come to the format, the more format option. We select it. Currently it's automatic, and automatic means that it's a number format. We can go over to percentage and then select percentage. When you select percentage, it's going to turn or convert this number into percentage for you. When you get a data or a client gives you a particular data and the person is asking you to format a particular column into a percentage format, this is how you're going to go about it. It can be in any format, not only percentage. You can select it from this option. So it can be a number, a plain text, a currency. So when you click on accounting, you can have the currency over here. You can have the currency displayed over here as well for you. So this is how, when you select the currency, this is how it's going to appear for you to see. You can also decrease the decimal places for the currency. You can also increase the decimal places using this option. So we can increase the decimal places to either 3, 4, 5, as many as you want. You can decrease it to 2 decimal places as well. Someone might be asking that, okay, with the currency, I'm a bit limited. I might want to incorporate other currencies inside this particular number that I am seeing here. In order to do that, you can use the find and replace feature to do the changes to your currency. So if you're using CDs and you don't want to see this euro sign here, you head over to edit and then select find and replace. You replace the dollar sign here, you find the dollar sign and you place it with a CD sign here. So let me just do that so you can see. So I'll copy this, Command C or Control C to copy. We head over to edit, find and replace, and then I paste this over here. I'm going to remove the number and leave the sign alone, and then I'll replace it with Ghana cedi, so GHS, and then I select this sheet, and then I click on replace all and select done, and then it's going to replace the CD sign for you, or any other currency sign that you would want to replace over here. This is also an easier way of working in a large data set. The next thing we will be looking at is how to freeze pants. Okay, so as you can see currently, if I'm scrolling up, my header is gone, but I want to see my header whilst I scroll up. In order to do this, we select the header row, then we head over to view, and then you select under freeze, you select up to row 1. Okay, so we've selected row 1. So up to row 1, we freeze it like this. So now it has been frozen for us. When we are scrolling up, we can see our header. Okay, as we are scrolling up, we can see our header. This helps you to know the headers, or as you are scrolling up. As I'm scrolling up, initially when I was scrolling up, I didn't know which was industry, which was sector, because they kind of look the same. They kind of look the same. But when you freeze the row, when you freeze the header row, it helps you to, identify your headers whilst you scroll up. As I scroll up, I can see that, okay, this is company, this is industry, this is sector, this is headquarters, this is founded, the year that it was founded, which we've now converted it to a price. And then we also have the notes. Okay. So this is how you can freeze your headers. The next thing we will be talking about is how to format this as a table. To format this as a table, we can select anywhere inside the cell. We head over to format and you select this option that says convert to table. When you select convert to table, this is going to be transformed into a table for you. This is going to be transformed into a table for you. This is how your table is currently looking, and we have the number of tables here. So you can rename your table. You can type any name for your table, and then we can adjust the header color by selecting the color that you want for your header. So any color that you want for your header, you can select it. I've selected this, and then you can format your table as well. You can show alternating colors for your table. You can show the table grid lines. In case you don't want to show table grid lines, you can uncheck that box. You head over to view, and under show, you can select and check grid lines. Okay, so this is how your data is going to be looking. There are no grid lines over here. This is how your data is going to be looking. We currently have this error because this is not supposed to be a currency, but we have decided to convert this to a currency. That is why it is giving us this error. It was a number, or a plain number, that was converted to a currency format. Because I am using this as an illustration, I'll go ahead and leave this like the way it is. But if you are working on data for a client, make sure that if you have this error, make sure that you delete it. Okay, make sure to remove all these errors if you are working on a data that does not belong to you. Okay, we use the autofill. So in order to delete, you delete the first one. Okay, and you use the autofill. You can see when you navigate your mouse to the end of the cell, you're going to see a plus sign. You click on the plus sign, then you drag it to the bottom, and it's going to, whatever you have in the other cell is going to populate the rest of the cells, which is the autofill. So I'll just go ahead and do the rest for the others. Select automatic, and I'm going to apply a couple of years. So I'll say 1450, 16, 70, 1990. I will select this and then autofill to fill the rest of the cells with the remaining information. And then I have it here. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment and I would respond to them. The next thing we will be looking at is how to remove duplicates from a data. In order to do that, I'll go ahead and duplicate this page. When you click on this plus sign over here, you can insert a row below. When I click on this, I'm going to insert a row below, but I'll use Command plus Z to undo. And I click on this, right click to copy, insert a row below, select this, and Command or Control V to paste. The same thing. Now I'll select this out. You can put your cursor or your mouse in any of the cells, and then you navigate your mouse to data. Under data cleanup, select remove duplicate. After selecting remove duplicate, you go ahead to check this box because your data has a header row. If your data does not have a header row, you can go ahead and then uncheck the box. But your data has a header row, which is the company, the industry, the sector, the headquarters, the founded, and the node. And we select remove duplicate. When you select remove duplicate, it says that one duplicate row found and removed. Okay, and there are 39 unique rows remaining, and then you select OK. When you use this particular option, it's going to remove duplicates from your data and clean your data for you. After you are done cleaning and formatting the data, editing everything as we have right here, we formatted this very well. So now you've completed the work that a client has given to you, and it is time for you to return this particular work to this client. There are two ways you can do this. You can use the share option here. Let's say natiguide@gmail.com. and you can give the person access to this particular file. You can give viewer access, commenter access, or editor access. Editor access, the person can edit this particular spreadsheet, and viewer access, they can only view but they cannot edit. Commenter access, they can only comment and view but they cannot edit as well. And when you are done, you click on send and the person is going to receive it in their email address. You can also give access using the link. So instead of restricted, when you click on this drop down, you can have anyone with the link. So anyone with this link can have access to this particular file. You can also give access like viewer access, commenter access, or editor access, and then they can edit when you give editor access and then click on done. The second way to go about this is to head over to file, and under the download option, you can download this as a Microsoft Excel, or you can download this as open documents, or you can go ahead and download this as a PDF file. Okay, and then you can also download this as a web page. This is for a website. So there are two options over here. You can download this as Microsoft Excel, and then you can download this as a PDF. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment. I would respond to them